Hi, welcome to my biology class. Today let's start with the evolution of organ system and the few systems I just left it, like in the previous video we discussed about the circulatory and respiratory more elaborately, and here let's start with the excretory system. Excretion is the undeniable phenomenon that if something happens into the cell, the productively they produce ATP and things, surely there will be a nitrogenous waste, and that waste should be collected and then removed at a stretch once for all. Like every day we'll be removing the unwanted things some 2-3 times or 4 times, like as we are a highest category in chordates. But it is not started with a well developed organ like a kidney. It started its journey like a simple way of how the diffusion takes place in respiration. Just like that, here there is a diffusion in case of sponges, and even in hydra, water current brings the food and takes the excretory item. It just diffuses directly contact with the external media, that is the body cell directly contacts with the external media. But when you talk about the flatworms, like they've got a special cells to release the nitrogenous waste, that is flame cells. It is very simple, but there is a special cell for removal. And when you go to the next level, earthworm has got a nephridia. So this I've just drawn here. Look at the difference between the flame cell and nephridia, and this is the highest category of a kidney. So the flame cells, they do remove the nitrogenous waste, but all this is collected by the tubules and then going to the body wall opening, and they just open into the body wall, that's it. But the tubules are there. These tubules only in future, the tubules of a nephron, like proximal convoluted tubule, distal convoluted tubule, all present in nephron. So, but here when it comes to the nephridia, they've got a nephrostome. They just open into the exterior of the body wall. This is the body, and it removes the excess. So there is a special opening to remove the unwanted nitrogenous waste excretion, and this is called as nephrostome here. And that's the difference from here. It is getting evolved, like when you go to the prawn, the green glands, furthermore because it is in water, that too marine water as well as the freshwater prawns are there, accordingly it is designed. So when you go to the insects have got a Malpighian tubules. The Malpighian tubules are a cluster of tubules. They don't have a separate thing, like, but it is fixed with the digestive tract. It is between the midgut and hindgut, so that it will be just removing, and everything is collected. The fecal matter as well as the uric acid is collectively coming out from the insect's body. And when you go to the higher categories, like mollusca also have got a kidney, and mollusca too, chordata, vertebrata, you've got a kidney. Kidneys are a specially designed organ with the huge number of nephrons in it. So the nephrons performs the removal of nitrogenous waste present within the kidney. So kidney on the whole, a big organ with the organ system of urethra, ureter and urinary bladder, and all that is there in higher classes of a vertebrate. So the evolution just moving from the simple diffusion to the highest category. So here when see, according to the place where they live, their nitrogenous waste also gradually changes. Sometimes they'll be releasing ammonia. Especially with the bony fishes, the ammonia is very toxic, but they remove the ammonia via their gills because it is very toxic. It won't even reach the kidney. And it is ammonotelic animals. In case of birds, because birds body weight has to be reduced, so both the things like urine as well as the fecal gets clustered and then removed. So uricotelic, uric acid is removed from their body. And we human beings, we release ureotelic animals. And apart from all this, there is some amino acids also released via the excretory system, and that is in case of a starfish, they release the amino acids. So the excretory product may vary. That's also a part of an evolution, and the place where they live accordingly it has been chosen. And this is about excretory system. The gradual upliftment was there. And when you talk about the nervous system, it is the wonderful thing present in animals. So animals are so specific because there is no cell wall, cell membrane in the communication and the signals transduction. So everything is very well designed in higher category, but it has not started in a day like the lowermost category has come out with good brain and the brain control center. It has not started its journey like, but still here it has started as a nerve net in Shrilantireta. Nerve net, see, the collection of neuron is a brain in higher category. Here it is a small nerve net, just a small cluster of and it is usually we have a neuron. When you talk about, you have unipolar neuron, bipolar neuron and multipolar neurons, like you have cell body, cyton, axon, dendron, dendrites. It's all advanced multipolar neuron. But when you talk about this is non-polar neuron, just a non-polar. There is not a distinct difference in axon and dendrites. It's very simple because it just started its evolution, started its journey from the nerve net. So it's very simple. And when you go to the next category, here in flatworms, they do have a, its nerve net is more collectively present. It is a nerve ring. The ring clusters are present here, they do response. But see, when you talk about a nervous system, surely there will be a sense organs. We have got a sense organ in our eyes, nose, and then the smell was there, the hearing is there, the taste is there, you know. These are all the senses and it's all related with the nervous system. But here, since the first time the sense organ is specifically designed, tango receptors and chemoreceptors. Tango means when you touch the animal, they are able to respond to the touch and the pressure they feel, and chemoreceptors, the chemicals they smell. So the sense organs started its journey from here. And when you go to the next annelida, annelida got a ganglions. It's not a brain only on the top, and throughout the body there the cluster of neurons, the ganglions have come, and all the ganglions are actually connected by ventral solid nerve cord. That's an exam question. Here it is ventral, and in a higher category it is dorsal hollow nerve cord. What dorsal and ventral? A simple thing can easily you can remember. See, the animals, this upper surface which is dark because it is facing the sun, this is DD, you can remember dorsal and dark side, and the lower side is ventral. And we human beings, usually the tetrapods walk like this. So we human beings got a erect posture. So we just moving from here to here. So for us, this is the dorsal and this is the ventral. So here they've got a ventral solid nerve cord, and they've got a sense organs. They do sense the chemicals, and since it is present just below the soil level, like they bury the soil and go, and they've got a photoreceptors too. And again, there is an advancement when it comes to the chordate. They are chordata. It is just because of the well developed notochord and dorsal hollow nerve cord. Okay, once the dorsal hollow nerve cord comes, surely there will be a cranium, and inside the cranium the brain is fixed, the master controller of your body, and which coordinate with all the systems and controls the entire system. So when the brain comes, surely there is a central nervous system and peripheral nervous system, and the connection goes on well with, and we immediately respond to the stimuli. And this is the greatest thing happened in animal kingdom, the nervous system. When you go to the reproductive system, it is common in plants as well as animals. But here also there is a small change from the lower category to higher category. The asexual and sexual, this asexual is very common in plant kingdom, and sexual reproduction is also exhibited by the plants. But here when you talk about asexual, asexual reproduction is something very primitive, as far as the animal world is concerned. But there are some animals still having the asexual kind of a reproduction. They do produce buds. Budding is very common type of reproduction in Hydra, and in case of Porifera, the body segments, I said it is a profusely branched animal. So body cut and falls on the ground, and then it will become a new one, and they produce a gemmules. So that's also kind of a bud they'll be producing, and that falls from the body, and then they grow as a new life. And this is very simple. Sexual reproduction is the most common phenomenon in animal kingdom. So when you talk about the sexual reproduction, again there is hermaphrodites and unisexual animals. Hermaphrodite in the sense both male and female is present in the same body. Like bisexual flowers we have here, both the sexes are present in the same animal. Earthworm has got a same thing, and tapeworm also has got both the male and female sexes in the same body. And that's primitive. When you come down to the unisexual animals, unisexual category also there is a slight variation. Sometimes the male and female cannot be differentiated when you see them. Externally there is no any different marks are there to see them. So if they don't have, you have to cut, and then you can see that what is, whether it is a male or a female. In many cases even some birds, they don't exhibit the sexual dimorphism. But sexual dimorphic, see, di means two, morphic, morphology. So two different external features, like the male in the outward look, you can see this is male and this is female. That is a bit advanced compared to this. In mammals, you can see that the scrotal sacs are present. Seeing the scrotal sacs, you know that it is the male, and the vagina is a female. So this is a very advanced feature, dimorphic. But the dimorphic is there during the breeding season in frogs, and even the lowermost category like cockroaches also exhibits. It's an evolution here and there. Sometimes progressively it could have gone, again the next group it could have gone retrogressively. It all happened in the evolutionary process. And when you go to the fertilization, again there are external fertilization and internal fertilization. External in the sense they just release the sperm and egg out, and they'll be meeting outside the body, but a lot of wastage will be there. So the continuation of generation is sometimes questionable, because there will be completely, if they don't fertilize at all due to the external weather or some calamities, means the particular species would go extinct. But if it is internal, means it is safe, that is the egg is fertilized inside the body. Even after the egg is formed and fertilization occurs and all that, but there is some variation. Like some animals lay the eggs after being fertilized. They lay the eggs and then they incubate them, and the young one will come, ovipary. And vivipary means the baby develops inside the body, the mammals or the one. And even some fishes, like in Chondrioctus, some fishes like the shark, they'll be just releasing the young ones. Like it is, again I said, it is sometimes the evolution moves with a progressive way, sometimes it goes with a retrogressive way. And development, again one more a little difference is there. Development, sometimes the young one just develops, like directly it is developed like parents. There is no any stages to be crossed, like larva stage, nymph stage, and all that is exhibited in indirect development. They don't, when they born the egg, when they come out, the young one, it doesn't resemble the parent absolutely. If they don't resemble the parents, they have to go for further stages, and these stages are called metamorphosis. Morpho means again the external feature, and the changes happen during their life cycle is metamorphic changes. And here also there are some minute variations. Sometimes it is a complete metamorphosis and incomplete metamorphosis. A complete metamorphosis means there is no resemblance at all from the egg, that is the young one which is coming out after being hatched, and then the completely developed. For example, you talk about the butterfly. Egg will come, and then larva, the caterpillar larva, and then the this one. Imago will be there, so there will be a change, a continuous, a complete lot of difference will be there. That is a complete metamorphosis. Sometimes when you talk about the cockroach, it is incomplete metamorphosis. The young one just resemble the parent, but they don't go for all the changes, and that is like they just molt. They'll be changing the skin, and this is called as even the parametabolous in cockroach. We'll study more detailedly in cockroach, and all these are the small changes. At last, the baby develops well in the body and coming out in case of mammals, the viviparous, fully, and all the stages are fully developed. So this is about the evolution in reproductive system, and that's all. With this actually the organ systems evolution is coming to an end. Almost the very important organ systems we discussed. So if you have any doubt on this or any queries, you please put it in the comment section, and please share and subscribe. Thank you very much.